one of our favorites, DraftKings Sportsbook, the leaders. When we talk about sports books, when we talk about top rated apps, when you're talking about safe, secure, reliable payment, when you're talking about just same game parlays, futures, in terms of bets, wagers, stuff like that, man, it's just a lot that you can really, deep dive into and make some compensation off of, or at least have the opportunity to make some compensation off of. But then on top of that, with DraftKings, they do got an awesome promo code going on, man. When you first download that app, because, some people out there, they've never done this before, Deke. It's their first time. You remember your first time.
Yep.
We all remember our first time. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good. But either way, when it's your first time on DraftKings, make sure you use the promo code MOATS. So when you make that first little $5 deposit, you're going to get a cool $200 right for you to use on the app, make some more potential money. Okay. So shout out to DraftKings for that. But we also understand, Deke, that not everybody can have fun and control themselves. We understand, Deke, that not everybody knows how to turn it off once they take that first leap.
Discipline's a great skill to learn.
It is. It definitely is, man. And for some people, you'll see on the screen right now, it's a number that you could call or text, depending on where you're located at. For my New Yorkers out there, you see the text. But for everybody else, you know what you got to do. You got to call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Why is Najee hurdling on short yardage situations? Put your head down and go to work, big fella. I was going to say this about some of those drives, too, in the second half that I thought were too conservative.
Yeah.
I did think they were too conservative. But we were literally a yard away from like 2 or 3 of them from picking up first downs. And that was one of them. Like, if we can't get a 3rd and 1 running the ball, I even said this whenever we had Ben.
Like, what are we doing, bro?
And there were times where it's 3rd and 1 with how the offensive line was. Yeah. We couldn't gain a yard.
Yeah.
So that's a problem in and of itself outside of the conservative play call.
We got to be able to pick
scrambled
up a
out.
yard,
He missed the first down. He was trying to reach for it. So that's just going to happen within the flow of a game. You're going to miss some first downs. But I do think the play calling was conservative. Yeah. But it also is a combination of us barely missing some of those 3rd and 1s.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Najee play, to me, that
How about that spin move, though?
No, that was dope. But the problem to me is I want to see more of the physical Najee. I don't care about the dancing Najee. Dancing Najee was, part of the issue when he was at Bama prior to his last season there. It was too much of the I'm going to make you miss, I'm going to shake and bake. And what got him back to being who he was them saying, bro, go back to being a mean, big, physical running back. Jumping is cool, shaking is cool, but at the end of the day, you're a 240-pound dude. Run through these guys, man. Don't take these guys off the hook, because as a defender, we would much rather Najee try to be Saquon Barkley. As a defender, that makes our life easy when he wants to shake, jump, cut, spin, move, and all that stuff. What makes Najee tough to tackle is when he put that head down and run behind them pads, when he starts stiff-arming folk, when he driving those legs. That's what makes Najee Harris extremely difficult to handle. Yeah. So, granted, we love the play where he's juke, spin, move. It was dope. And then, remember, in that same quarter, he still went back to doing what? Running behind his pads, being that physical guy. Second half, that whole jumping thing, I'm going to start looking a little bit more. Just not the biggest fan of that part, but I did think that this was his best game that he's played this season. I thought, it was at one point in time, he was averaging, I think it was like 4.2, 4.3 yards per carry. He was doing, his part and things like that. And there's still more that he can get better at. Why are we doing tosses
with him, though? That's another question. Let's do tosses with Jalen Warren.
Well, because the thing is, when you start exclusively saying, I'm only going to run a toss play with this back and not with this back, what do you think as a linebacker I'm keen?
I get it. Let's just not do tosses then. Let's just cut them out.
But no, it's not just the toss. You know what the issue is with some of those toss plays? Y'all ain't going to hear it.
Let's hear it. Block it. Receiver blocking.
Yeah. The guys that we love.
It can't be Pickens, right? Come on, dude.
I'm not going there, bro.
I saw Claypool miss on one. Not Pickens.
I just said, y'all don't. I tell you ain't gonna want to hear it.
I don't.
All right, so we're gonna leave it alone then, because and it's not just him. It's multiple guys when you're running the toss play.
We need Hines Ward.
It's multiple guys on the toss, and it's not just this game either. It's not just this game. They at times you look and it's like, all right, I can see you was really into that block this time. This time, I can see that you were not all the way into that block. it shows. So when you're talking about the run game, and especially trying to run on the perimeter, all 11 matters. We just leave it at that. They all matter. And we don't get consistent elite blocking effort every single time with everyone that's out there. We'll leave it at that. It's multiple people that are involved, though. It's not just one player.
Pickens, dude.
But it's
say it ain't
it's
so.
multiple people that are involved with it, bro.
Say it
don't
ain't
shoot
so,
the match.
dude.
I said you ain't going to hit it. But it's not just the talk. It's not. Oh, it's not. It's not. No.
It's almost like I don't want to hear about how much open he is now. Let's stick to blocking.
No, but it is funny when you do look at the receivers and the ones that, you can tell the difference when it's a pass play and they're targeted or they're option A. You look at how they run a route.
Oh, my.
When you look at them and they're not
this
option
isn't a
A or
Steeler
B,
mentality.
you be like,
We
bro,
can't be doing this.
When it's a block and it's like, yo, they don't really want to block. It's like, bruh. I mean, you touched them technically, yes. But this is the guy that blew up the play. He didn't make the tackle, so I guess, thumbs up. But he made the puller have to reroute. He made Najee bubble. Like, it happens, bro.
Wow.
So I get we want to get on Canada. I get
something
that.
to look for going
No,
forward.
I get we want to get on
sure.
Canada, and I get we get on Najee as well. But that is a part of it. It's not just offensive line. On the perimeter, when you're trying to run certain plays, you have to get that. And that is something where you can't pick and choose. One of the best things about Juju when he was here, he didn't pick and choose when he wanted to block. He was going to consistently do that at a high level. At times, like I said, it's just the consistency isn't all. He actually did, dude. Shout out to Juju for that, man. It was good to see that too, man. That's the little dude, man. Oh, I guess he ain't little homie no more. He done grown up now.
Yeah.
But, I always think of him as like the dude that locked up his bike after that 99-yard touchdown in Detroit. Yeah. But
maybe he could come back over to Pittsburgh in the offseason, teach us some
Lord.
of that offensive stuff that he learned over in KC.
Bro, yeah.
If he learned so much in those however many months he's been there.
Oh, that's right. He
could
said
pass
that
it on
before
to
the
us.
season. You could only imagine how much he knows by now.
Yes.
He said that after like a month being over there.
Claypool's still cool with him. So
Yeah.
Juju, Deontay too, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Najee, yeah, I guess as well. So have a group meeting in the offseason with Juju. Pick his brain about the offense.
Yeah.
This is all if Canada is back. If Canada is back, you need to do this. Write all of Juju's theories and what he's learned down in a notebook, hand it to Canada, and say, run this shit.
But no, it does boil down to that consistency part, though, man. At the end of the day, like, regardless of what Canada calls, sometimes he calls good stuff, sometimes he doesn't call good stuff. But it can't be for him when we're like, yo,
that's disappointing.
We don't know how many good calls you got in your clip anyways. And when we actually do get one, it's like, bro, that's the effort you giving me. Like, why? And then it's a 2-yard loss, and now we over here like, oh, okay, predictable. Why Canada running this? What we doing right here on this particular jet sweep? How did this get blown away? And it's like,
just a huge disconnect.
It is.
Canada's pissed about, man, why aren't you blocking on my plays? But then maybe the receivers or whoever's down on the field says, why the hell are we calling this play?
I could understand it from both sides, but when you talk about one band, one sound, when you hear me always say, hey,
that's
man, if we all wrong, we're all
Steelers.
right.
Exactly.
That is the difference right now. And when I look at times, that does pop up. It's like, bro, we're not saying F my stat right here. Let me go make this block. They're not saying, hey, man, I'll do this. Even if it's not good. Even though I know this route isn't designed for me, I'm the clear out guy. Let me haul tail downfield and not make it questionable of, hey, man, am I running as fast as I can run? But when you talk about a young team, what do we say? Young, learning how to win, the details. A couple teams I think of right now, I'm in the Jets, that Dolphins team that we just saw, and the Patriots to an extent. Think about the past 3 years for them, right? The transition they've been in, how many close games they've had, how many ugly parts and times they felt like, but now it's to the point where they're starting to figure it out, right? And some of these close games, it's like, yo, when y'all start executing like that, when y'all start making that stop on defense right there, when y'all start doing this over here. It took them a couple of years, though, to really get to that point, right?
Sure.
This same Jets team a year ago was not finishing games the way they were, right? This same Dolphins team right now, they weren't finishing games like this a year ago. We talk about the Pats, and even in terms of since Brady has been gone, their transition, because they've been the furthest in this thing, right? And they've actually went to the postseason since then. But it's like, man, you look at them. That first year when Brady wasn't there, man, they went through a disastrous, trying to figure it out. But now they're a couple years removed. They have a method in place. they say, okay, now it doesn't matter if it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi. We can figure out how to win in these scenarios. Because as a team, we understand the significance of these details, the significance of not just doing it right one time, but doing it right every single time. This is just a young team right now when you're watching them. They're trying to understand that. And it takes, at times, you pulling it up on tape and saying, hey, man, I know you nice when you get that ball in your hands. I know you got routes on routes on routes. But at the same time, the same effort you have when you're running a route to get a ball, I'm going to pull up them plays where you're not getting the ball, where you're not target number one, where you're not, you're here to block, specifically block, or you're the decoy guy. And I'm going to show you your effort on that. And you tell me they're the same, because it's not. And when you talk about championship ball, when you talk about trying to win, that's the conversation that you got to have. Because it can't always be, when it's for me, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. But if it's not for me, I'm going to just kind of, take it off right here. That can't be the case.
Well,
and it's across the board. It's not just one player. It's across. Like, that is something that has popped up.
I think someone needs to tell Pickens then, listen, you know what can get you just as much praise and enthusiasm from these fans as a big catch like that touchdown yesterday? A huge block.
A monster block.
A la Hines Ward.
I'm about to say Juju Smith-Schuster.
You want to become a legend here? Make those catches. That's fine. But if you want to combine it with some of these blocks, you're going to be the guy forever here.
Bro, Juju became legendary when he slept perfect. Let's be real about it. That was he's no longer Juju with the bike, ha TikTok.
Pickens can definitely do it because we've seen it. It's just like, dude, do more of this stuff.
Yes, and trust me, on tape,
we saw it at Georgia. We've seen it a couple times here with the Steelers.
Dude, him and Claypool at times, they show it. But when you're talking about young players, it has to be more consistent. But that is a part of the growth. That's a part of what you have to go through. So when you talk about Matt Canada, and it's like, man, it's Canada, it's like, yes, he is a part of this. 100% he is. But at the same time, those type of little things matter a lot when you're talking about how do we get big fixes? How do we feel better about this offense as a whole? The details are what get you those big changes, or what get you the big changes in terms of success and productivity. But we have to go through that to learn that.